Getting laid off was unfortunately not too uncommon in the year 2020 with the world shutting down and all. So when I found out I got laid off, I wasn't too shocked. But what I didn't expect was how long it would actually take me to be employed again. 10 months to be exact. You know how they tell you to save 3 to 6 months of emergency expenses? This was definitely a time to put that to use. But another thing surprised me. I actually didn't need to dip into my savings all too much. It was quite the opposite, actually. I ended up increasing my savings by the end of my unemployment. With the government assistance to double the unemployment benefits during this time, and also some frugal habits I've kept since I was a broke college student, I ended up being able to stretch the dollars I had, and even held on to some things I would consider luxuries. So let's reflect, shall we? Here's how I spent during my 10 months on unemployment. Now, I have to preface this with the falling safety nets that I was afforded during this time, which I think drastically helped my mindset on how I looked at my money situation when I found myself laid off for months. 1. Parents were willing and able to help. They did insist on purchasing a new laptop for me, which I used for grad school, but other than that, and maybe some nights of home-cooked meals and that my mom made when I visited, I didn't gain any funds for my family. 2. I had a fairly significant amount of savings already that I was fortunate enough to accumulate over the years from my career in tech. In fact, I made plans to pay my top 25 MBA in full without taking out any loans before I got laid off. And spoiler alert, I was still able to achieve that goal, which is one of my proudest achievements to continue to be debt-free. Okay, let's start with my unemployment income. I received a total of $678 every week. This was $300 on top of the regular max $378 for individual unemployment that the government allowed for the pandemic. That equates to about $2,700 or $3,300 some months, averaging about $3,000 per month. I'll go into my regular spend per month and how I was able to save money, but then I will go into some emergency expenses I ran into separately. So my biggest expense was my mortgage, that averaged $1,473 per month. So my housing expenses would probably be the top luxury I kept. I continued to live alone during this time in my 2-bedroom townhome. If I found myself unemployed for any longer, I would have seriously considered a roommate to cut back on my mortgage by at least $900 to $1,000 per month. Health insurance is the next big category. Now, I paid this through my grad school in one lump sum, but it averaged to about $266 per month. I'm grateful that I was able to afford good health care as a student. Shopping and entertainment was my second biggest expense at $240 per month. I think I could have honestly spent less in this category. Entertainment and shopping include things like charity and restaurants or dining out as well. I don't like to put dining out with my grocery store spend. To me, dining out is completely optional and for entertainment purposes for the most part, with a high markup of food being prepared for you and 20% plus tips on top of that. It is a luxury. Groceries came in at third with $231 on average per month. I usually spend about $300 to $400 per month on groceries, and during this time I actually think I could have saved more, but I did cook a lot more, thus buying more groceries at times, so I'm pretty happy with this number. So going down the rest of the list, we have auto insurance. I pay twice a year, averaging $94 per month. Utilities, including electric and water, at $103 per month. HOA fees, $81. Internet, $40. Mobile phone plan, $22. Gas and fuel, $22 again. And property taxes, $13 budgeted per month. Now, I was quite surprised how low my gas and fuel was, as I usually spend $60 to $100 a month, but that was pre-lockdown times, and I really didn't have much use for my car not needing to go into work anymore. And the grand total regular spending per month, $2,585. So I didn't have to dip into my savings at all during this time. Now, there were some emergency pop-ups where I'm glad I had my regular emergency savings available. I had to do some car repairs that cost $100, and I had some unexpected medical expenses which cost another $270. So, what did I learn from all this? Well, a ton, but from a financial standpoint, I realized that if I needed to, I really could be scrappy and cut down expenses where needed in times of emergency to meet my basic needs and even afford some things I want. And it gave me more confidence to not have to depend on high paying jobs all the time, as I knew I could afford the lifestyle I needed with a lower pay. Now, I'm not a financial expert and I'm not posting this to brag but I wanted to share what is possible out there in terms of personal finance. This is my story and I want to reveal more how I was able to get to this point. There's always room for improvement, but I also want to share what I've learned along the way and all the knowledge I have.